All right, hey friends, Christian here, back again, and talking today about a really important concept. I learned this somewhere along my medical training. It's a useful concept. It's an idea about what really drives a lot of chronic digestive illness. And because I studied medicine in different cultures, I was watching how one very old medical system treated this aspect. And it's a Western concept, which is kind of interesting, right? I mean, in the Western medicine, they actually have a name for this, but it's not a diagnosis. It's more like, as I said, a concept about the common everyday things that people take for granted and why your body breaks down from that. Okay, so if you're dealing with a chronic digestive illness, this is a super, super important thing to understand. It's called allostatic load. What does your allostatic load have to do with anything? Allostatic just has to do with, right, very similar to homeostasis. The concept here is if you pile on one brick after another of bad function, right, bad habits, creating all kinds of various easily recognizable, very easy to recognize organ imbalances. So, for example, what would be an organ imbalance? Well, heat in your liver is a very common organ imbalance. Okay? What causes heat in the liver? One of the things, when we talk about allostatic load, is just what we refer to as stress. Now, stress is a very, very funny thing in the Western medical thinking because it's like the water in the fishbowl. Everybody just says, yeah, but that's just stress, or those are just stress-related symptoms. And not a lot of discussion, or certainly your doctor is not going to explain to you that stress creates these symptoms. Stress creates heat in the liver, and these symptoms pertain to heat in the liver. And if these go on long enough, right, you end up with other things, dampness, dryness, right, all kinds of signs that your organs are actually, they're breaking down, but not breaking down in a static way where they're broken and they're never going to be repaired. No, they're trying to do something that they either can't do, not designed to do. And for most people, this is very, very simple solution. This is very, very easy kind of idea to work in. So your allostatic load really comes down to two basic aspects of your body's ability to rest and digest, right? So to your body's ability to digest, but by digest, I mean absorb and eliminate, right? Both of those functions. You're getting good stuff in, assuming that you're eating proper foods. And then also you're able to, right, keep waste from building up. Dampness is waste in your lower belly. People with a lot of dampness, and if you don't know what this concept is, I go into this in real detail. Most people with digestive health have some amount of dampness. So when the allostatic load grows past a certain point and your body is starting to manifest real symptoms of imbalance, you can step by step selectively reduce the load on your body. And this is how your self-healing thing really kicks in. It's a completely different way to heal your body than to take a pill. Taking a pill further loads the allostatic load actually increases. If you're taking 2-3 medications, even occasionally, right, that up again, right? So you're creating all of these difficulties, whereas one of the single best things you can do, and I teach you how to do this strategically, right? Because so many people just have digestive illness, because of all the food we have, because everybody's all overeating, stressed, eating things that, you know, your body doesn't really agree with and sort of ignoring it, right? And not really paying attention to what kinds of signs and signals your body is producing and understanding what's causing that. This is the stuff you learn in the pivot protocol. Not understanding that your body's sending you a message, right? So allostatic load grows, and then, you know, the symptoms worsen, and sometimes you get new symptoms, and then, right, you're headed into very serious chronic digestive illness. Reducing allostatic load, understanding very simply what the mechanisms are giving rise to each of the 4 main categories of symptoms. That's heat. The spleen is, we say the spleen is weak or vacuous, empty. There's something that's missing. So you eat and eat and eat, and you develop, you know, metabolic imbalance because you're eating like crazy, but you're not nourished. You're not. This is people who typically are obese, could be autoimmune, where your body's working like crazy, but you're still losing weight, right? the spleen is so empty and so tired. Now, the other good news is, right, your spleen gets empty and weak and vacuous just with age, right? You can't stop this from happening. It's more like if you know how to prevent it from being bad, if you know how to stop inflicting that on your body, your spleen will recover. There's ways to help it recover. And I show you what these are. Dryness is dryness, that's very easy, but you also have to know some subtle things about how to fix dryness. People taking laxatives and stuff like this, that's insane, right? You can't do that to your body. That's not sustainable, right? You can't do that. If you have to do something like that, right, to make sure your body's eliminating, you're in deep trouble. So, and then dampness, right, a very important concept too, that goes along with all of this that I teach deeply about in the Pivot Protocol. How do these relate? How do your organs reinforce one another? How do you get it spinning in the right way so that it actually heals itself? Okay? And understanding what allostatic load is, understanding how you take the pressure off your body so that the self-healing, self-generating mechanism that I refer to as the pivot starts to put you back together, is a revelation for people. I wrote about this recently. When you know you're going to recover, when you finally, oh my God, you have like this forehead slapping aha moment, and you know, I figured out how I'm going to heal. Okay, it doesn't mean you're 100% there, but it clicks in your head what I'm talking about, and there's a really, really logical step-by-step way to get that done. It's a game changer, because the moment that happens for you, you know you're going to be all right. Your whole mentality shifts to basically like, I'm a well person, I'm okay, this is not out of control. Just imagine that. So if you haven't gotten started, I hope you do. You owe it to yourself. Right? This very strange method that I discovered 20-odd years ago is really worth learning. I think it's the single greatest thing I learned in all my years in medicine. And I've taught this to other people. I've taught this to other doctors. I've taught this to now tens of thousands of people online. And if you don't know the Pivot Protocol, if you don't know what I'm talking about how these four organs have to be meshed like gears, right, so that your body starts to work again and then things start to heal on their own, if you don't know about this, then you really owe it to yourself to get started. Okay? And go over to pivotprotocol.com and just check out what people said about it. Okay? So thank you very much. I'll be back.